In this video, I want to quickly show how I block all ads and trackers and kind of various sites that you probably don't want to visit without having any ad blocker installed or any browser extension at all, and also without using any additional software or also additional like DNS setup. So, and the way I do this is pretty simple. I do it with the etc hosts file. So there's this great project by Stephen Black, I guess is his name, and it's at stephenblack/hosts on GitHub, and it's pretty popular. It has almost 30,000 stars. And what the project is about consolidating and extending hosts files from several well-curated sources. So yeah, this is because by using a host file, you can actually block certain domains you don't want to visit or you don't want to resolve. Well, or rather, you can specify where these domains resolve to, but I'll show you in a second. So if you go to this GitHub site and scroll down, they explain here what this is all about and how this is kind of organized. So there's a unified host file, which I think blocks most ads, or rather most trackers and ads and stuff like this. And then there are various extensions, for example, for like pornography or for social media and for gambling and stuff like this. So if you actually scroll down here, they have various variants. So for example, this first one is for unified hosts. So this is adware and malware. So for ads and, well, domains which serve malware. And these are already quite a few, so 88,000, over 88,000. So, and then they have these kind of unified versions. So they have one for fake news, so unified hosts, so adware plus malware plus fake news, and so on and so forth. And the kind of combination that I typically use is this one right here, and I've also already downloaded it. So this unified host plus gambling plus porn plus social, because I don't really care about like fake news. I mean, it's just text or, well, news sites, so I don't really care about that. But like gambling, social, and porn, like I don't want to like visit these anyway, so I think it's good to block them. All right, and so there are these download links. I mean, you can choose whatever you want, but there are these download links now. So this right one, I think, takes you to another site where this file is hosted. This one is for the raw GitHub user site where you can download this file, and if you click this, it will download it in, like, it takes quite a bit because this file is pretty huge. And there's also a README with some installation, with some information about the file or whatever. So if we switch this, it will display the actual like file. And I will show you in a second how to actually install this and use it. So there's some information, and then there is some localhost definitions. So how this is structured is, I can maybe talk about this a bit. How this is structured is in the front you have the domain, not the domain, the IP address, and like in the second row you have the domain. And so this basically tells your computer, okay, I want to resolve this domain to this IP address. So if this finally can increase the font size. So this domain should be resolved to this IP address. So localhost points to 127.0.0.1. So for example, and if we scroll down, we see, so there are these, this is kind of where the actual like hosts definitions start. So this assets file, so add assets dot whatever, this should point to 0.0.0.0. And that means this should not be resolved to anything. Like, just pointed to nothing, basically. So yeah, and there are a bunch of these definitions, and all of these domains won't get resolved. Alright, so now I want to show you how to install this. I will switch to my terminal emulator, and I have already downloaded this file in my downloads directory, hosts.txt. And if we open this, we will see the same thing we saw in the browser. And so if we go, for example, down here, this is the same thing. So there are all these definitions, and if we skip down here, we also see, for example, definitions for like social media. So Snapchat, all of Snapchat gets blocked. All of like, I don't know, what is here, TikTok, Reddit, all of this stuff gets blocked. So how you actually install this now is you can either copy out all the text, of course. So for example, you could copy like Control A and then copy all of this and paste it manually, or you can just do it by using the command line. So what I'll do is I will cat this and then pipe it into etc hosts. Oh, I should maybe first like show you etc hosts, because there is something in this file. Like there are these definitions. So this is my host name, and so this is an X200 ThinkPad, and I'm running Alpine on it. So this is why it's X200 Alpine. And yeah, so this points to 127.0.0.1 and also localhost, and yeah, so these are just kind of normal. And these might be different on your system, kind of depends on what you are running. So anyways, we don't want to override it, but we rather want to append this new file to it. So again, we want to cat this and then append it to etc hosts, and this will probably not work because I'm a normal user and this etc host can't be written to as normal user. So yeah, permission denied. So what you could try now is append like do as or sudo or whatever you're using, but this also won't work because yeah, you're only catting this file as root but not appending it as root. So what I do is I just switch to my root user and then just run it like that. Alright, so let's go out of here again, and if we now look at etc, if I can type etc hosts, we will see, okay, the first two lines were there before, and then this whole new host file starts. So yeah, pretty straightforward. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. Now if I quit this file again, I don't know if you have to restart networking. I think with Network Manager, if you're running that and like systemd and all this kind of stuff, it just works automatically, I think. But yeah, I think it's good practice to just restart networking because you've changed something on your system that has to do with networking, so might as well restart it. And I will also need to restart this browser because as it is right now, if I go to, for example, Instagram, it will still load it, even though I have changed the host file. And this is, I think, because Chromium has not picked up the changes. And again, this might be different on your system. For mine, it just works like that. So I will close this, I will restart networking, then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've restarted networking. By the way you can do this on Alpine is just running RC service networking restart, and you will need to run this as super user, so prepend do as, or sudo if you're using that. So that's how to restart networking. So I've, again, restarted my browser as well, and if I now visit Instagram, it will not load. The site can't be reached. Refuses to connect. Oh no, connection refused. How terrible. And if I, for example, I think LinkedIn is blocked as well. Yeah. LinkedIn's blocked. Oh no, what terrible tragedy. I think YouTube is not blocked because they don't categorize YouTube as social media. I mean, you can debate that, but it's not blocked in the source file, but you could block it. And I think, yeah, some other things as well. So again, you can just add whatever you want to block to this host file, but kind of having this predefined host file is very nice because of course you don't want to like spend hours on end trying to figure out all the domains, all the subdomains that a certain site uses. So yeah, that's very nice. So, and I think that's pretty much all I had to say. I mean, why is this so great? I maybe should have said this in the beginning, because this works on your whole system. So this doesn't only work for the browser, but this also works for everything. So if I Instagram, if I can spell it, if I try to ping that, well, it will just ping localhost. Like it will ping 0.0.0.0. And yeah, the ping won't leave my system. So it won't try to resolve this Instagram.com domain because I've defined it in the etc host file. So I think this is by far the best way to block all of this trash. Like by far. Because again, no additional software, no additional like hardware. Like I think Pi-hole does the same thing. Like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think Pi-hole pretty much also only does this. So it only blocks all this trash. I mean, it does it on a like network-wide basis, but you can install this on like Android if you have rooted your phone, you can install this on Android. You can also install this on Windows and Mac OS. I think there are instructions in the repo how to do this and all this kind of stuff. So again, by far, I think the best method to block all this trash. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, all I wanted to show you, and I hope this was useful. I would urge you to try it out if you want something like that. I mean, even if you only like install a unified host file to track all like malware domains and ad domains, like yeah, I think that's a good thing, and that's really the easiest method there is, in my opinion. All right, so yeah, that's it. Have a nice day.